Hey, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Good evening. Hey there, Sister TC. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. Hey there, Minister Latoya. Good evening. Hey, it is my request. Good evening to you. It is my our custom that we do roll call. So please let me know where you're joining in from. Thank you for inviting your followers. Please let me know where you're joining in from, what city, what state you all are joining in from this evening. I know some of the people on the scope, but I might not know everybody. So if you'd let me know. Hey, Maryland is on tonight. Thank you so much for being on. Where else we have people coming from? Maryland. My East Coast is representing tonight. Thank you, East Coast, so much for representing this evening. Hey, Michigan, my home state, is representing tonight. Where, for those who are just coming on, who's joining us and where are you joining us from? We'll do this for a few more moments. Michigan is in the house. All right. Hey, Sister Green. Got the west side of Detroit is in the house. Hey, I recognize what tonight is. And if the people who are on the scope, I might not get too many hearts on this one. I hope so. But for the people who are on the scope, if you are believing God for a Golden State championship tonight, I recognize that game is going on right now. But it's Monday's motivational message, and we have to do what we have to do. So I'll be about that for this evening. So what I want to quickly talk with you about, hey there, Nicole Welch, how are you there? What I want to talk to you about just quickly is from the theme or from the thought, take another look. Take another look. And it's really about the practice of reevaluation. Reevaluation. To reevaluate means to look at the value of something again. To look at the value of something again, or in essence, to look and to see what you are valuing and why you're putting your value there. And so we are at, my job is that of a school administrator. And so we are at the end of coming to the end of our school year. And one of the things that I am personally wrapping up, I even stayed late tonight at work to work on it some more. One of the things that I'm personally wrapping up are teacher evaluations. Catch me. I'm wrapping up teacher evaluations. And we have done for certain teachers, I've done a set amount of teacher evaluations. Thank you so much. God is helping with that patience. And for other teachers, we have to evaluate them more times throughout the year. And so I am regularly evaluating and reevaluating individuals. Even in between our official and formal evaluations, I go in and make informal observations just to coach them along the way to get them ready for what's coming up next. And so in the midst of sitting and going through these evaluations, it came to me to give you a practical tool tonight, or a practical concept from the theme, take another look, to reevaluate or to look at the value of something again. There are three simple components that I want to give you as it relates to reevaluation. The first thing that happens when you evaluate anything or reevaluate anything is that you have to assess. You have to assess. I hope I can get a scribe tonight. If somebody would be so kind as to be the scribe, and if everybody else would be so kind as to tap that screen for those hearts. I need y'all to stick with me. Thank you. So if you would assess, you have to assess where you have placed your value on things right now, whether they're people, whether it's things, whether it's where you put your money, whether it's where you put your time, or whether it's where you put your energy, your prayers, your fasting, your praise, your worship, whatever it is, your interests, the types of books you read, the types of movies you watch, the types of shows you watch on television. You have to assess what it is that you are giving value to. After you assess it, then there are some things. The second thing is, and I notice this in the teacher evaluations, but I think it's apropos for us, that after you assess it, then you must address it. The second point is address. You have to assess it, and then you have to address it. Once you identify what it is, and I say it often, and I am not the only one who says it. I did not come up with this quote. I'm sure I did not. That you cannot conquer what you don't confront, and you cannot confront what you don't identify. And so it is that once you assess it, you've got to address it. You got to address it and make sure that it is that, there are some things that you might have valued last season of your life that you don't value anymore. And it doesn't mean that you're fickle, and it doesn't mean that you're inconsistent. It means that you're a living organism, that your interests change. I mean, truthfully, just think about it. Let's take a classic example of relationship and marriage. When you were in your 20s, you might have wanted him to be taller than you in your highest heels, and be able to take both of y'all out to dinner and carry the tip and all that kind of stuff and be mannerable. And at this point, you might be thinking, shucks, if I'm taller than him with heels on, just let him be nice, Lord. In your 40s or your 50s, you might just let him be nice, let him be mannerable, let him love you. I mean, your interests and your values change. And so with that in mind, then that's okay. But you have to assess that to know that they have changed, and then address it. You don't, let me say it this way. You never want to stay stuck where you were. You want to stay where you are. Oh, that's good right there. Divine, make sure you get that down, please. You never want to stay stuck where you were. You want to always stay where you are. And what do I mean by that? One of the things that I challenged myself with, and I live by this statement, and I have to tell myself this all the time, is that, thank you, Alexis, I have to tell myself this all the time, that wherever you are, be there. Okay, this is going to help a whole lot of us tonight on the scope, because we live in an age where we multitask with everything. I'll prove it to you. I'm well aware that there are people who are on this scope tonight who you're multitasking right now, even as you're watching or listening to this, and that's fine. I feel no disrespect from that. But one of the things I have to tell myself is that wherever you are, be there. At the time that I am physically, and you can be physically someplace, but mentally someplace else. So you really have to hone in and rein it in to make sure that you're physically in a place, make sure that you're emotionally in a place, that you are mentally in a place, that you're spiritually in that place, that you're financially in that place. Because some people, there are sometimes you can't physically be there, but you'll send your money in your stead. If it's like a ticket or a dinner or something, I'll buy a ticket, but I can't come. Whereas people really want your presence. They might want your money too, but they really want your presence. So the whole idea, I'm not rambling, I didn't get off, is that with this whole idea of reevaluation, you have to assess it. You have to address it. And then the third thing is that you have to adjust. ADJUST. You have to adjust. You have to actually make some changes once it is that you have taken an assessment or you've assessed it, you've addressed it. So now you've got to adjust. And those are the 3 A's that I wanted to give you as it relates to the practice of reevaluation, to look at the value again. I want to give you a little bit of word before we get off of the scope, and I'll end. This is a great ending right here. My mind went to, as I was writing home today, to 2 Kings chapter 6. And the story says in 2 Kings chapter 6, for those who are familiar and for those who are not familiar, that the king of Israel had joined allegiance and alliances with some other kings. And then there were enemy kings and kingdoms who were coming against Israel. The prophet Elisha, catch me, the prophet Elisha was on the side of the king of Israel. And everywhere where the enemy kings were coming against Israel, Israel always knew what was going on. And the enemy kings wanted to know who it was who was committing treason, so we could just find that person and kill that person. And his high-ranking officials told him, hey, man, none of us are committing treason. None of us are trying to sell our country out. What it is that Elisha, the prophet, the Lord is speaking to him, and he is telling him all of our plans ahead of time. So they said, where is Elisha? Because we got to kill him. So the scripture says that the enemy kings, they send out spies, they find out where Elisha is. Hey, he's where he is. He's in the spot where he was. And so the enemy king said, well, let's go and surround it. This is what I want you to catch this. He says, let's go and surround the city, because a very practical strategy of war is to block the perimeter so that there is no traffic coming in and there is no traffic going out. So they said, let's surround the city, because we know that if something moves, we're going to kill it. We're getting ready for a great finish. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to be done in a minute. So he says, let's go surround it. So here's what happens. The prophet, because you know God told the prophet anyway, he tells his servant, he tells his assistant, hey, go out and reevaluate the geography. Reevaluate what's going on. So he goes out and he assesses what's going on, and he comes back and he says, OMG, what are we going to do? Because we are surrounded by horses, chariots, all these sorts of things. And so the prophet says something to him that is very interesting. In 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 16, he says, son, I need you to chill out, because there are more who are for us than who are against us. I don't know who this part was for. Just stay tuned. I'm gonna bring it all together in a second. So he then prays for his servant. And this is my prayer for you tonight as we end this scope. He prays for his servant, and he says, Lord, open my servant's eyes that he might see. And the Bible says that right after Elisha prayed that prayer, he sent his servant back out to do what? To take another look. I know y'all didn't think I forgot, did you? He sent his servant back out to take another look. And when the servant got back out there to look, I'd love to tell you that he saw something different. But when you read the Bible, it says that he saw chariots of fire and horses and blah, blah. It seemed as though he saw the same thing. But this time, he saw the same thing along with what the prophet declared over him, that there are more who are for us than who are against us. Let me make the point. This is my prayer for you. This is my declaration for you. My prayer and my declaration is that God is going to give you some insight that will change your outlook. It is my prayer that God will give you some insight that will change your outlook. Every time you take another look, I want him to give you some insight. I don't want you to look at it another day. I want God to cause you to look into it. From this day forward, you won't ever look at things on the surface. From this day forward, you won't ever take anything else for face value. You're going to take it at faith value. I want you to take another look. And the wonderful thing about the tool and the practice of reevaluation is that it's not a once a lifetime opportunity or once a lifetime thing. You can use it as often as you need to. And so as we're going through life and we're becoming all that it is that God has called us to become, all that it is that we're trying to accomplish in our careers, all that it is that we're trying to do in the natural or in the spiritual. It doesn't matter, because it is a spiritual principle, but it is a natural practice. It is at work that I want God to give you some insight that will change your outlook. When you look at your bank account, I want God to give you some insight that will change your outlook. And I don't even have time to work this evening, but the blindness that was on Elisha's servant's eyes. The Bible then says that the prophet asked God, put that same blindness on our enemies' eyes, because since blindness is here, Lord, don't waste it. Just put it on them so that they'll go kill themselves. And so it is. I really am encouraging you tonight to take another look, participate often in the practice of reevaluation. That includes, but is not limited to, assess, address, and adjust. And I believe then that you will also realize that there are more who are for you than who are against you. Hey, thank you so much for joining tonight on Monday's Motivational Message. It is always my joy to take these few moments out of my life to share something with you that I hope and I pray that helps your life. If this is meaningful to you, and it always is, I pray, hey, I want you to make sure that you invite your friends, your followers, that you share this on Twitter, that you share this on social media. Once again, I'm not really interested in getting more followers as much as I am interested in having a larger platform to be able to influence people's lives. Hey, if you are not connected with me, please join me on social media, Nelson A. Henry on Facebook. If you are on Twitter, follow me on Twitter at Pastor Nah, N-A-H. If you are on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Pastor Nah, N-A-H. Of course, you already follow on Periscope. And for YouTube is so important. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I wish you'd do that. I'd be so honored if you do that. And that is Nelson A. Henry with no spaces in between. Nelson A. Henry with no spaces in between to subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to do this. I know that there are some friends of yours and some friends of mine who are not on Periscope, but they need to hear this message. I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. And I'm probably going to post it on Twitter, I guess. Please make sure that you share this with them because they need to get this. Thank you so much again. Take another look. And remember, continue to walk by faith and look good doing it. Until next time, be blessed. Bye-bye.